I never thought I'd be the guy telling a story like this, but here I am. My wife, Lisa, and I have been together for about 8 years. We married young, both of us chasing careers and trying to build some kind of life. At first, it was great, fun, passionate, full of promise. But as the years went on, things started feeling, I don't know, different. Not bad exactly, but distant. She'd snap at me over little things, brush me off more often than not, like I was annoying her just by existing. I chalked it up to stress. She's a marketing exec, always busy, always on her phone, always out with friends. Still, I had a gut feeling that something was off, even if I didn't want to admit it. The first real sign was small. She started coming home later from her girls' nights, claiming she was out with her friends, but I'd notice her phone buzzing in her purse when she thought I wasn't looking. Nothing concrete, just that little prick of suspicion. I'd ask her about it and she'd roll her eyes, call me paranoid, tell me I was overthinking. She'd say, "You're married to your work, not my friends, relax." But I couldn't shake the feeling that something was wrong. I started paying more attention. Little things. She'd get a little defensive when I mentioned her phone, and her stories about where she'd been didn't always add up. She'd go out, come back smelling different, a little too eager to wash off whatever she'd been doing. Then came the night I found the messages. I was sitting on the couch after dinner, browsing through the house's security app, just routine, trying to see if I'd missed anything. Nothing unusual at first, but then I saw it. A message from some guy named Mark, sent late at night. "Can't wait to see you tomorrow. The pool house will be free just like last time." I froze. I knew Mark. He was our neighbor, wealthy, arrogant, the kind of guy who always had a new toy or a new girl on his arm. And he was the one whose lawn I mowed every week. Lisa was always bitching about how annoying it was to have me doing that, but I never thought she'd be sneaking around with him behind my back. I couldn't believe what I was reading. That was the moment I understood that she'd been lying to me this entire time. She'd been sneaking off to the neighbor's backyard, using his pool house, and I'd been out there, sweating over his lawn while she was in some affair. How long had this been going on? Weeks? Months? The worst part is that I'd been so oblivious, so trusting. I'd waved her off when she said she was out with friends and she'd been fucking some rich asshole who lives just down the street. It felt like my entire world was crashing down around me. I wanted to scream, to shake her and demand answers, but I held back. I knew I needed to see her face, confront her directly, but I was scared of what I'd find. The next day I couldn't concentrate at work. All I kept thinking about was how I'd been played. The woman I loved, the woman I'd built a life with, had been lying to my face. I felt so stupid, so naive. How could I not see it? How did I miss the signs? She'd always been bitchy when I brought up her late nights or her secretive phone. But I never pushed hard enough. I didn't want to believe that she'd cheat on me. But she did. She's been doing it right under my nose, in the backyard I maintained for her, in the very same yard where they'd hide their secret rendezvous while I was working. That realization made my stomach turn. It was like the entire foundation of my life had been a lie, and now I had to figure out what to do next. That night I waited until she was supposed to be asleep, or so she claimed, and I followed her from a distance. I needed to see it with my own eyes to confirm what I'd stumbled upon in that message. She slipped out of the house around 10 p.m., acting all casual, like she wasn't sneaking around. I kept my distance, watching her walk down the street, her heels clicking softly on the pavement. She headed straight toward the neighbor's house, the same one I took care of the lawn at. My stomach clenched. I knew where she was going, and I felt like I'd been punched in the gut. She went around back, and I circled the block, trying to stay hidden. I saw her go through a side gate, then disappear toward the pool house. I stayed hidden behind some bushes, heart pounding. I saw her go inside, and a few minutes later the light flicked on. I could see the outline of her figure through the window. She was in there with Mark. I didn't see anything explicit, but I didn't need to. The fact that she was in there in his backyard, in his pool house with him, was enough. She was cheating, plain and simple. I stayed there for what felt like hours, just watching her come and go inside that tiny, dark house, my mind racing. How long had she been doing this? Was this just one night? Or was this the start of something worse? I knew I couldn't just confront her without evidence, but I also knew I couldn't keep pretending I didn't know. When she finally left, I followed her at a distance again. She returned home around 2 a.m., looking a little more tired, maybe even guilty, or maybe just pissed off at me for following her. The next morning, I woke up feeling like I'd been hit by a truck. I knew I had to confront her, but I wasn't ready. I needed a plan, a way to get her to admit it or at least to tell me what the hell was going on. I started piecing everything together: the late nights, her defensive attitude, the messages, the secret trips. It all pointed to the same thing. She was cheating on me with Mark, our supposed friendly neighbor, the guy who I'd been working for, maintaining his lawn and fixing his fence. I kept asking myself, how long had she been lying? How could she do this? And more than anything, I felt an intense, burning mixture of betrayal, anger, and sadness that I'd never experienced so intensely before. I decided I'd have to face her that afternoon. I had to hear her lie, or maybe, just maybe, she'd admit everything. I wanted her to look me in the eye and tell me why she'd done this, why she'd chosen that arrogant bastard over me. I knew she'd be a bitch about it, probably deny everything at first, call me paranoid or insecure. That's her style: deflect, lie, make me second guess my own instincts, but I wasn't going to let her. I was done playing nice. If she wanted to lie her way out of it, I was prepared. This wasn't just about the affair anymore. It was about how much I was willing to take before I finally snapped. I didn't know what was worse, the betrayal itself, or the fact that I'd been so blind to it for so long. But one thing was clear. I was about to make her own secrets come crashing down around her, and she wasn't going to like it. That afternoon, I sat on the couch trying to pull myself together. My hands were shaking, and I kept going over every detail: her sneaky behavior, those late-night trips, the messages, the way she lied effortlessly every time I asked her where she'd been. I kept telling myself, today's the day. No more hiding. No more pretending I don't know. When she finally walked into the house, I could see the way she carried herself: smug, confident, like she already knew she had me wrapped around her finger. I took a deep breath and called her out. "Lisa, I know what you've been doing," I said, voice steady but painfully controlled. Her eyes widened for a split second, then that bitchy smile curled on her lips. She threw her head back, scoffing. "What are you talking about? You're crazy. You've got no proof." That was her go-to lie. Always deny, deny, deny until she thought she could weasel her way out. I pulled out my phone and showed her the messages I'd saved, the ones from Mark about the pool house. Her face turned a shade paler, then flushed with anger. She scoffed again, snapping, "It's just some stupid joke. You're overreacting as usual. Maybe I was just talking to him about the lawn, or maybe I was." "Cut the bullshit," I interrupted. "I saw her go in there last night, Lisa. I saw her slip into the neighbor's backyard, into that pool house with him. And you think I don't know what that means? You've been cheating on me for God knows how long, and you're just lying your ass off to cover it up." My voice was rising, but I was trying to keep control. Because if I lost it, I knew I'd say something I'd regret. Her eyes flashed with contempt. "Oh, please," she sneered. "You're just jealous because I don't want to sit around your lawn mower all day. Mark's just a friend, okay? We're not doing anything. You're imagining things as usual. It's always about your stupid yard, your stupid work. Maybe if you paid a little attention to me, I wouldn't have to go looking elsewhere." The words hit like knives. She'd been spinning her lies, twisting everything around to make me feel like I was the problem. That's her style: turn everything around, make me feel guilty for catching her. I felt my fists clench. My heart was pounding so hard I thought I might have a heart attack. I wanted to scream, to shake her, but I held back. I looked her right in the eyes and said, "It's over, I'm done. I don't want to hear your lies anymore. I want you out of this house. I want you to pack your shit, and I want you gone." I could see her trying to keep her composure, but I knew her well enough to see the cracks. That angry, bitchy mask she always put on was slipping. Just a little. She started crying, fake tears I knew, trying to get me to feel guilty, to back down. "You don't understand," she whispered, voice trembling. "He's just a friend. We're not together. I swear I didn't mean for this to happen. It's not what you think." That was her usual pattern: deny, lie, cry. But I wasn't buying it anymore. I'd seen too much, heard too much. I knew she was lying, and I knew I had to make a choice about whether I'd stick around or finally walk away. As she kept blubbering, I realized how much this hurt. how much I trusted her, how much I loved her. And in that moment, I also understood that I deserved better than someone who could lie so easily, cheat so blatantly, and then dare to cry and look innocent. I'd been a fool, but I wasn't going to be one anymore. I told her to get out, and she hesitated. That bitchy smirk returned, and she told me I was overreacting, that I was just insecure, that I had no proof. But I had the proof. It was in her own messages, in her own damn words, and in her own actions. I just needed her gone, and I needed to start figuring out how to pick up the pieces of my shattered life. The days that followed were like living in some twisted nightmare I couldn't wake up from. I told her to leave, and she did, but not before throwing one last punch, accusing me of being controlling and jealous, as if I was the one who betrayed her, not the other way around. She packed her bag in half an hour, throwing her bitchy attitude around like a shield. I watched her walk out the door, her high heels clicking on the hardwood, knowing that I'd never see her the same way again. Once she was gone, I felt an overwhelming emptiness mixed with rage. I kept replaying everything in my mind. Her sneaky trips, her lies, the way she'd look at me like I was the crazy one. Honestly, I wasn't even angry about the cheating anymore. That's just what bitches like her do when they get caught, lie and deny. What really tore me up was the betrayal of trust, the fact that I'd given her everything, and she'd thrown it all away for some rich asshole who probably didn't even care about her. It was like I'd been naive from the start, believing in the woman I thought I knew. I spent the first few nights lying awake, trying to process it all. I'd look at the empty space where she used to sleep and feel this gnawing ache in my chest. It was a mix of sadness, anger, and this sick feeling that I'd wasted so much time on someone who didn't deserve it. All those neighborhood barbecues, those casual conversations, the feeling of being secure, gone. Now I saw everything with a different lens. The way she used to bitch about her stupid life, or how she'd dismiss my efforts on the lawn like I was beneath her. Turns out, she was just waiting for her real escape plan to unfold. What hurt even more was realizing how she'd spun her lies to everyone else. I caught her making excuses, saying she was working late or going out with friends, but I knew better. I knew she'd been sneaking off to that pool house with Mark, while I was outside in the heat, caring for that lawn like some fool. I was stupid enough to think she loved me or at least respected me, but she never did, not really. She just used me, used this life we built to cover her own bullshit. I had to figure out what to do next. Part of me wanted to burn everything down, confront everyone, tell them what she'd done. But I knew that wouldn't fix anything. I'd been humiliated enough. The more I thought about it, the more I realized I couldn't keep living like this, pretending everything was fine. I needed a clean break, a fresh start. I told myself I'd pack her shit, take some time to breathe, then figure out what came next. Maybe I'd get a new job, maybe I'd move somewhere far away. Whatever I did, I knew I couldn't stay here in this house, in this life that now felt so empty and betrayed. That realization hit me hard. I'd loved her, believed in us, but she'd proven she was just another selfish bitch who didn't care about vows or promises. She'd chosen her own selfish needs over everything we had. I'd always thought I was the strong one, the dependable one, but I'd been a fool. She wasn't worth my pain, my tears, or my time. She threw the first stone, and I was done playing the victim. Now I just needed to get through the aftermath, clean up the wreckage of what was supposed to be a happy marriage, and figure out how to rebuild my own life without her. It's been a few weeks now since she left, and honestly, it feels like I've been hit by a freight train. I've been bouncing between anger, sadness, and a strange sense of relief I didn't expect. Part of me still can't believe she actually did it, cheated on me, lied, played me for a fool. I keep thinking about all those neighborhood barbecues, the backyard cookouts, the casual chats. All the while she was sneaking off with Mark, probably laughing at how stupid I was to trust her. The worst part is knowing she lied about everything, even the little things I had no reason to doubt. I still catch myself looking over my shoulder, wondering if I missed some signs, if I could have done something differently. I've been trying to get my head straight, but it's tough. Every time I see her face in my mind, it's like a punch to the gut. I wonder how I didn't see it coming, how I stayed blind for so long. She was always bitchy, always quick to dismiss me, call me insecure when I asked questions about her late nights or her strange phone calls. Now I realize that was all part of her game, covering up her affair, spinning her lies. I feel like I was played, like I was an idiot for trusting someone who never cared about me the way I thought she did. The house feels different now, so quiet. No more her bitchy comments, no more her rolling her eyes when I asked her to help with something. I can't help but think about all the time I wasted trying to keep everything together, while she was out there, living some secret life. I've thrown myself into fixing things around here, fixing the fence, organizing the garage, trying to keep busy so I don't drown in my own thoughts. It's the only way I can keep from falling apart. One thing I've definitely learned is that I can't trust her anymore. Not just because she cheated, because I already knew that was a possibility, but because she lied so effortlessly about everything. The way she spins her stories, the way she makes herself the victim, it's sickening. I can't believe I was so blind to it. I thought I knew her, but I was just fooling myself. Now I see her for what she really is, a selfish, manipulative bitch who used me and then tossed me aside like yesterday's trash. And honestly, it's a hard pill to swallow. The hardest part is realizing I have to rebuild everything, starting from scratch. I don't know what's next, but I do know I won't let her win. I might be broken right now, but I'll get stronger. I have to. Now, as I sit here reflecting on everything, I realize I've learned more than I ever expected from this nightmare. Trust is fragile, something I used to take for granted. Now I see how easily it can be shattered by lies and betrayal. I've also learned that sometimes, the hardest thing you can do is walk away from the person you loved most, even when it feels like your world is collapsing. Because staying would only serve to keep me trapped in a lie, in a life built on deception. I've started to rebuild piece by piece. I've been talking to a counselor, trying to make sense of the anger and pain. Clearing out her stuff, sorting through the memories, has been a brutal reminder of how much I gave, how much I trusted, and how little I got in return. But I've also realized that I don't need her to define me. My worth isn't tied to her or her lies. I'm learning to find my strength again, to stand on my own. What I want to say to anyone reading this is simple. Don't ignore the signs. Don't dismiss your gut feelings just because you want things to work. People can hide their true selves behind a mask for a long time, but eventually the truth comes out. And when it does, it's better to face it head on than to keep living in denial. Because betrayal, no matter how painful, is also an opportunity to grow, to learn, to become better than you were before. I'm not saying it's easy. Nothing about this is. But I do believe that eventually you come out stronger. The pain eventually fades, replaced by a hard-won clarity and a new sense of self. I know I'll never forget what happened, but I also know I won't let it destroy me. I'll keep moving forward with a sharper eye and a tougher heart. And someday, I hope to find someone who values honesty, loyalty, and respect, not someone who sneaks around in pool houses and lies about everything. For now, I'll keep rebuilding my life, because I deserve that much.